Dennis, first and foremost, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to be here be here with you, and before we kind of get into it and people hear your story and everything, I want to kind of explain to you why I was really like, I want to get you on the show, man. Let's get you on the show, right? So I've had a handful of people who, yes, they've all signed this table, they've all been on. I admire them greatly for whether they're like what they've done with their careers or like their interesting stories that they have and just the goals that they've achieved. And the one common denominator that like everybody has, like their girlfriends, their family, the friends that they all have to thank for where they are or how they got there, they all come back to you. Like they all mention you, right? Like the apex wolf and everything. Right. And so me hearing that from all these people who I admire, what they've done or what they're doing or their mindsets or even these traits that they have, them all saying that you are like, whenever it comes back to person, I'm like, who like inspires you or whatever, and they're like, oh man, you got to talk to Dennis, you got to get Dennis on. I'm like, okay, if all of you guys are saying this, okay, this should be good. So that's why I'm super stoked to have you on today. And yeah, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, man, no problem. It's great to be here. I've heard about all the guys getting onto your show, and I thought it was a really cool idea. And I've never really done a proper podcast before, so nice. I'm excited to talk and see where this goes.
Awesome, stoked for it. So, kind of give people a bit of perspective on you by taking us through your journey, kind of leaving post-secondary school, like the life after high school portion of your life, to where we are now, and then we'll go back through it full circle.
So after high school, I always had a goal to be a firefighter. So I took pre-service firefighter course in college, but I was like pretty young, so that never really went anywhere. I ended up leaving Sudbury. I moved to Ottawa when I was 20.
Nice.
Moved there with a couple friends. I was only there for like less than 6 months, and me and a couple friends thought it was a good idea to move to Calgary.
Nice.
So
amazing.
Yeah, it was
quite the jump.
Yeah, it was a huge jump. But Calgary was booming at that time, right? Yeah. A lot of people were moving there, and they were just working on the oil rigs and making a ton of money. Mm-hmm. So that was like kind of our mindset. So we drove all the way out there, and one of my friends started a roofing company. So we did that together.
Nice.
So we just got into roofing. Fast forward that bit, it was just like a year of working with friends, living with friends, and partying with the same
Sounds
friends.
Like a blast, though.
It was really cool. We worked a lot. We made a lot of money, but at the same time, we ended up hating each other. And
that can happen.
Yeah, the business just like one guy got out. I ended up getting out, and roofing was never something that I wanted to do. Yeah. And I've worked a lot of hard labor jobs, and I like to work hard, but I was always into fitness, and I always knew that kind of wasn't where I wanted to go. When I moved back, I ended up moving back to Ottawa a year later, and I always liked working on cars, so I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? My only schooling right now is pre-service firefighter. Mm-hmm. I've got no experience anywhere else, so I got a job at a dealership, at a Mazda dealership, and I did my apprenticeship, and I worked there for 6 years. I went to the gym every day. Nice. I was reading books. I got right into it. I was trying to get as big as I possibly could, and just like
I love
decrease my body fat. Yeah, I just did like totally bro workouts.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Just bicep
sure, we've all
curls
been
and,
there.
Yeah, no legs.
I mean, I'm still there.
Yeah,
but that's all right.
Yeah, just all upper body, chest and arms.
Chest and arms.
Yeah,
let's go. Nice.
But people started asking me like for help, so I started to help people. So I was giving them advice and nutrition, and and when I was working at the mechanic shop, like everybody just hated their fucking lives, right? They were angry old people that have been there for 30 years, drive shitty cars, and I'm like to myself, just thinking like, I do not see myself here in 30 years.
You don't want to be those people, right? It kind of scares you away.
That was like a huge motivator for me. Like when I went to school to be a mechanic, when I did my apprenticeship, I was like blown away and fascinated by how cool cars are and transmissions and like how these things work, and it was amazing. But then the job killed it for me. The people there just killed it, and the way that everybody kind of looks at mechanics, you know, like they're just grease monkeys in the garage type
Essentially,
of thing. So
yeah.
it wasn't, I knew it wasn't for me, and I ended up meeting a girl that lived in Australia, and she's like, you should come out. Yeah, it was amazing.
No. Nice.
So she ended up coming down
awesome.
to visit me for a week, and then I was like, fuck it, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Like, this is not something I want to do, so I'm just gonna like drop everything. And I did, and I quit everything, saved my money, and I just flew to Australia, and I used that as a restart. And that was like the first time in my life that I ever like planned something out and it went to plan.
Wow.
Like, my plan was like a requirement there, right?
Yeah.
You get a visa for a year.
Yep.
And if you want to stay for a second year,
Reapply.
yeah, you gotta reapply, but you also have to work on a farm for 3 months.
Yes, my best friend did this like 2 years ago, 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
cool. It's
Yeah.
cool, but you gotta, like, I picked oranges and lemons and
Yeah.
avocados. Well, I stole the avocados and sold them because I made more money stealing
Really?
avocados. Yeah, you sell them to the grocery store. You make a killing.
Like that much more, eh?
Oh, it's
Jeez.
insane. Yeah, like literally, it's
That's hilarious.
you have to. You end up just losing money because you got to
Yeah.
live on the farm and you got to pay rent and shit.
Yeah.
But if it's raining or if the weather's too cold, like, you can't pick oranges, but you like
Right,
it's,
so you
it's
can't
not-
work, you can't get paid.
Yeah, but you still gotta pay. It's
Right,
like
yeah.
it's insane. They're just taking
Wow.
advantage over there,
Yeah.
which is smart for them. But
100% from
Yeah.
their business point of view.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it was smart.
interesting.
But yeah, that was a super cool experience. But my plan was to go there, pick fruit for 3 months, get a job at a gym, get certified as a trainer, and then start personal training.
Nice.
And it was like, I got there and everything just happened.
lined up, eh?
Happened, and it fell into place.
Wow.
All of a sudden, I'm a personal trainer at a gym, and I'm like, fuck, I can't believe all that shit just happened. Like, I just kind of lined everything up and it went through. And then I started to realize, like, the next thing was, you know, for these races, you know, sign up for a 24-hour race and do the training and get a coach, and, you know, and it just kept on escalating from there. So, like, my fitness journey really started, you know, if we go back to like Ottawa, I remember being in a Good Life doing bicep curls,
Yeah.
probably bicep curls.
Which good life? You don't mind asking.
In Ottawa,
Because we're in Ottawa. You're there a handful of years. Like 5-6 years.
I
total?
was in.
Seven. I went to Algonquin for 4 years, so I lived in Ottawa for 4 years.
Yeah, it wasn't down. It was in Barhaven.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would have been a Good Life there,
I know.
doing
exactly
some
what
kind of
that
bro
was.
workout, and I remember just standing there like and thinking, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
what am I training for? Why am I doing this?
Right. What's the goal here?
What's the goal?
Yeah.
You know, I was in a pretty good shape, and I was just thinking, like, this is just weird. So I decided I wanted to learn how to do a backflip. So I went to a gymnastics gym,
Yeah.
just open gym,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey guys, I want to learn how to do a backflip. They're like, cool, come
can
over
teach
here.
you.
Yeah, we're gonna teach you. So that night, I ended up learning how to do a running backflip off of a wall, and then it was like, yeah, it was cool. It
Yeah.
was something I really like. I started when I was 25, and I realized, like, this is a really good skill, and I'm naturally talented.
You can still do it now too.
Yeah, I can still do it now.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I was like, shit, I should have been doing this when I was a kid, but I stayed there for like 2 years. I went religiously because
Yeah.
it was like the best training ever. Like,
Amazing.
the athletes that were there were shredded, and they weren't huge, and they were super strong, like crazy strong. And the stuff that you can do with your body, like when you learn how to do a backflip, like from that moment, I was like, I can do anything. Like, if you just set your mind to it and you just keep training and trying
Yeah.
and trying and trying, like, you progressively get better. Like, you can't just do things without practice, right? You need to learn.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't jump right into it.
Yeah, you need to learn, and I've realized that with everything. Like, you need to approach it with the mindset that you can, but you just need to learn, right?
Yeah.
Failure is not actually failure. Failure is stepping forward and learning.
You kind of need it in that like learning process, right? Like you need that feedback, and that's what failure is. But people have become more aware of, I think they're getting better now because it's everywhere with like influencers, right? For lack of a better term, like, hey man, you need to fail at something. There's nobody who just does it right 100% of the time on the first try.
Yeah.
It's not real, right? So we kind of have to, it's not getting disguised as much as it used to, where feedback and failure, there's like a blurred line. It's like, no, feedback is failure. Like if I get tapped out at the gym, that's just like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
You know, immediate feedback, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Like how amazing must it have been in like through all this to kind of, once it clicked in your head, it sounds like when you're actually like, oh, if I put my mind to something and it work out, like it sounds like in Australia, like how nice must that have been when everything just kind of fell into place?
Yeah, it was weird. Like it was the first time in my life that, you know, I started to realize that when I say something out loud and I tell people and I start talking about it, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So it's a really interesting concept to kind of think about. And when you know that, you can kind of create these positive things to kind of happen in your life. So like I can go on more about this stuff in Australia, sure. But it was like, you know, 4 years in Australia, like I got a coach and did running and all these crazy races, 24-hour races and all that fun stuff. And I got big into Spartan races there. Ninja Warrior came to Australia, and the gym I was working at was really cool. It was this like massive warehouse, like 10,000 square feet of just obstacles. Like,
no kidding.
Huge shit.
Just like massive.
Salmon ladders, monkey bars, like they had wind everything. Tunnels, walls. Like it was crazy. Yeah.
That sounds epic.
Yeah, it was wild. It was the funnest place to work. And I was really good friends with the business owner there.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, so it was cool. So I got to see firsthand running a gym, and then also my side as a personal trainer. And I always kind of thought like, this is really cool because I would be able, if I had a gym, I'd be able to help a ton of people in a positive way. And me as a personal trainer, like I can only take on like 10, 15 clients.
100%.
And you know it gets hard, right? So you can't help the same volume of people.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So I ended up, so for Ninja Warrior, I ended up applying to be on the show. I got on, which was super cool.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I was on season 2 of Ninja Warrior Australia.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, no kidding. That's cool.
TV is pretty crazy. So that was a super fun experience, which then, you know, inspired me to do more ninja training and open a ninja gym.
Yeah.
Because it's fun, and it's, you know, you get the gymnastics aspect and then you get everything else, the skill base, the flying through the air, catching shit, hand-eye coordination through the air, like it's, and all of the balance. There's so much to it that just makes it so much fun. Yeah, and at the same time, I like the athletics, the running, the racing, the Spartan races, the trail running. So having the gym focus on strength and conditioning plus Ninja Warrior was like this unheard of combination. Right. But I was like, fuck it, why not? Like that's something I really want to do.
For sure. You can kind of like, it seems nice though that you're able to kind of apply your drive to help people through the personal training and coaching, but still have like the hobby part of what you love to do in the obstacle racing and the Ninja Warrior. It's like, hey, we could still do this, and it's there, and then people get to see, because like you said, right, being around it is just like, it's really cool just to see, so then people get drawn to it, right? It's a very attractive thing to see. It's like, oh, this is awesome, I want to try this, and then people try, and like you said, they get addicted, or they want to see kind of where they can go with it, right? Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Did you, with this business owner who you became good friends with, what was one thing that he kind of said or maybe exemplified to you that, or you saw him do, right, that was something that still to this day you've taken and kind of implemented into your day-to-day? It could be like related to just business or just the gym, or it could be related to kind of running that type of facility.
I would say it would be the opposite. He did a bunch of stuff that I would not do, right? And it would be
Yes.
like I ended up like going there and doing a lot of the work for him, making the cold calls, helping him with sales and doing different things. And I heard a lot of negative things like people wanted to cancel their memberships and he wouldn't cancel them, or he'd charge the big fees, or
cancellation fee and stuff.
or people just had issues with them, and I ended up having issues with them in the end, which is too bad because we've never really communicated after I left, which is kind of shitty. But so that's, and I'm always, I think a big thing which helps me be successful with my business is that I'm there to help the people.
Right.
I'm here to help the community. If people have an issue, I just tell them, like, listen, man, you're just dealing with me. Like, if you need to cancel your membership, like, I don't care, right? I'm here to help you. So, and that helps them then come back, right? If I do it in a positive way, they're going to tell their friends that they were able to cancel their membership, like, you should go to this gym. Like, it just didn't work for me. Or
there's no stress of doing that, right? Because that exact example too, there's a lot of pressure on that, right? Like the person might feel intimidated, or they're like, hey man, we're already in a bad place because we're having we really enjoy this, we're showing up, but now money's tight, so they might feel embarrassed, right? Or insecure approaching that, facing that problem, going, hey man, so we can't continue this. It's like, well, that's cool that's kind of the way you're able to turn it around and go, well, all right, like, it sucks, but
but you're welcome back whenever you can. Like,
sure.
It's I think that's a big difference for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just some way for me to help everyone out.
Nice. So the workout, what would you say your passion is? Like, is it more centered around the Ninja Warrior stuff and the obstacle racing, or is it more just like a fitness, that style of fitness?
I need a race or a goal.
Yeah.
Like, my passion is around running and racing. I need something big. Through the 24-hour races and my coaching, I got into ultra running, and that is my thing. I love my main goal is to run 100 miles, which I'm gonna do, like, probably not this year because this year's a little bit too busy and there's too much shit going on. But I'll probably run another 50 mile, which is 85K, and then next year, hopefully I can do the 160.
So I don't think what people realize too is running, to begin with, just the word. Just when people think of running, they have this, like, it's difficult, right? It's not easy, it's not fun. There's nothing, like, exciting.
I could
around
disagree.
It, right? Yeah, I'm intrigued to hear your counterpoints in a minute for sure. I'm on the extreme end. Like, I still do it weekly. I'm just like, no. I'm like, I'll be honest, it sucks. It's uncomfortable. I can't sell it. I'll let you sell me on it after. But then you put the word ultra in front of it, and then that's when I'm like, okay. You're like, I'm gonna run 100 miles. Like, okay, interesting. So, like you said, something big, and I want to get to your counter arguments in a minute, to, like, sell people on running, because I think it's very important people do it. But I want to know, how important is it? Like, how important of a role is it that goal setting plays in, like, anybody doing fitness? They could be at ground level or at a level you're at, where you're like, I'm gonna run 100 miles next year.
I think that is the most important thing, period. Having a goal. Because if you're going to the gym, then you're gonna reach a point where you're like, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. Mm-hmm. You lose 10 pounds, then what? Then what? Right? Then you need something. Even if you get rid of the 10 pounds, right? If you just say, like, hey, listen, I want to run 5K. That's my first event ever, and you're not in good shape at all. You're gonna train for that 5K, and you're gonna lose the weight, and you're gonna get in shape anyways because of the training to lead for that event. Right? Your body is always going to adapt to the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? I start training for ultra, I get less strength, I'm not as fast anymore, right? My body can just run forever.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off, right? And it's if you sit on the couch all day, your body's going to adapt to that. You're going to lose all your muscle and you're going to gain weight, which is a really neat concept, right? Like, it's your body is really really good at adapting to situations, and goal setting. I think that is another reason why our members are so fit, You know, you talk about
It's incredible.
You talk about a lot of their experiences, and it's all based on goals.
Yeah.
You know, when we first opened, and you know, just to mention Richard, he me and him did about 15 races in the summer. So it was like back to back, boom, 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 and we always had something. So it's like, this race is coming up in 4 weeks. We need to do something every single weekend, and we need to do something throughout every single week,
Right.
or we're not going to be able to do this event. And that just, like, look at the results.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely incredible. I had to put on a sweater when he came into the studio here because he had his like biceps up. I'm like, all right, listen.
And that guy was like,
angle me in my studio.
he is mind blowing, man.
It's
like,
amazing.
His
It's the coolest thing to
transformation
see.
has been nuts. And there's tons of people like that in the gym. And and now we're looking at Spartan races. And as a gym, we just had 20 people go to the most recent race.
Yeah.
And last year at Blue Mountain, we had 30. And we're going to have even more going to the next one. And all of these people are like, man, I got to be fit for Spartan. So it's, you know, that's their motivation to train. And without that, it's like, what are you training for?
Right.
So for me, it's huge. I feel like I'll just sit on the couch and do nothing if I don't have a race.
Yeah,
so
no
I need
kidding.
to I just always need to be on something.
How do you go about setting your goals? And like, can we think about it from people who maybe like, they put numbers on the board. Like behind me, I have like deadlift 500 pounds. That's not my number. That's a friend of mine's who came in, and because I asked him, I'm like, okay, well, what are the goals you want to achieve? It could be like in terms of fitness, life, whatever. But we focus on fitness. I'm like, okay, well, what's the fitness goal of it? And he's like, well, I want to deadlift 500 pounds. Like you said, it's like you get to a point where it's like, well, once you hit that, like how high can you go? What's the threshold?
Yeah.
So for people who are maybe new to setting goals, in terms of like not so much like how do they decide on what to set?
That's a good question. And it's tough if you're new and you don't know fitness or what you're capable of. Or, you know, for a lot of personal training clients that I used to have, I would ask them that question and they wouldn't know. So then I would take them in the gym and see if they can do a pull-up.
Right.
Can't do a pull-up. Okay, well, that's a good goal right there. Let's learn how to do a pull-up.
Start right.
Yeah. How many push-ups can you do? Wow, 5 or 0, right? There's another goal. Let's work on something like that. And then you pick something fun. Or if they're a little bit more fit, then you can ask them if they know how to do a muscle up. Right? And then you pick that muscle up. A lot of people will come with something, but if they don't have anything, then that's where they just need a little bit of guidance.
Yeah.
Right?
And it pulls back, like that example you use, like we don't have to think about goals as these big things, right?
Yeah.
Like I like the example you use, like, oh, if they do 5 or no push-ups, like, okay, well, let's get to 10.
Yeah.
And okay, and we could add that number, and then it's, well, now they're able to do like 30 push-ups, like 15 pull-ups or whatever, and then they also can do a handful of muscle-ups. And it's like, well, now where do we go from here? Yeah. Well, we take all that together, bunch it up, mix it up, and then, well, now we're running these ultra races, now we're doing these crazy competitions. Like, it's cool to see that that's something, like, we don't have to start that big. Right? Like, when it comes to goals, like, you're able to kind of start at a micro level. But I think the problem that I see now, and you can attest to this or not, I'm curious your perspective, but how much people can gain if they just start doing something.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to talk about like fitness specifically, but I'm sure there's more we can say to it. But like if they just start doing something, right? Like at least show up to the gym before you try 5 push-ups.
Yeah.
Right? Like how important is that first step versus like step number 9 out of 10 or something? Like how important is that?
Yeah.
Main initiation.
It's really important. I think a lot of people just don't know what to do. So like if they're just going to go to the gym, it's, you know, that's why our classes are great, because you don't need to think, you just show up and then you do the class.
Right.
And then you've got a coach to help you through it. But if you're just going to go, say, to a gym that just has weights and you have no idea what you're going to do, right? I can see where people would struggle with that. So I would say the best plan is to YouTube and write some shit down and, you know, get some inspiration from people that you see on social media. Mm-hmm. Right? You see something fun and cool, like it could be something super simple, and then you just need to learn how to break it down. Like if we use that pull-up for an example, like a lot of females, their goal is to do a pull-up, right? A bodyweight pull-up. Then they would just have to the internet is so easy. You just
Yeah,
you would
very
have
easy.
to just Google how to work up to a pull up, and then you
It's
would just
there.
go there with that plan, right? You go with the
yeah,
plan, because if you just show up with nothing, then you don't really know what you're doing,
Yeah, it's a lot tougher of a process, or less strenuous.
and then you get overwhelmed and you lose motivation, and right, you always
Yeah.
need to have a plan.
Right, and I think too, like you said, I like that you use the word motivation. Like in the beginning stages of goal setting and even goal like achieving, motivation is everything. It's the driving force. But then once you get there, it's like, okay, well now I'm sure, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but you operate majority of the time over with discipline, not motivation. Like whether you feel great or like crap, you're still going for the run if you say you have to go for the run.
Yeah,
Right.
and that is the I think the fear of failure that drives me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Right.
if I've got a race and it's something that scares me,
Yeah.
I will do it out of like I don't want to fail.
Right.
So I will, like, I quit drinking, I quit everything, I quit
Oh.
doing drugs just so I can get events and races done and get my training in. Like, I don't want anything to get in the way.
Amazing, man. Good for you.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's awesome.
It's been over 2 years now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah.
Jeez, is that like tough at all, or is it just like, no, you just kind of...
No, I only drank like 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, okay, so it's not...
When all of this stuff started, like, coaching helped a lot, right?
Yeah.
If anybody's into coaching, it's worth every penny for sure.
Yeah. Amazing. I think the roles that coaches play is so much bigger than we think too, because they're always on the sidelines. They're kind of looking in. They're like just kind of planning, right? They're the puppet masters of the athletes. I like to think of it. The last couple episodes I had of the show were like with MMA coaches when I was in Edmonton, and kind of understanding like the passion that they have for their athletes is what drives. Like they have the passion of the sport, they have the passion for coaching, and then they have the passion of seeing their athletes do well, right? So what I'm curious about with you, how important of a role does passion play in terms of running a successful business, but building a community more so? Because I think that's what you've done over anything. I think it's building the community of like loyal, amazing members that like they love you, man, and just what do you like? That seems to be from somebody looking in and like hearing the stories. It seems to be that it's the passion that you have, and you're like, dude, I just want to run. I just want to run, make people feel good.
It's, you know what, it's true, and honestly, the community that grew, it just blew my mind, and it surprised me, and I still think to this day, like, this was just something that I wanted to do and that I'm passionate about, and these people are supporting me, and they love it, and I'm still just doing what I love, which is amazing, right? Like I was on the OCR pro team in Australia, which was super cool.
Amazing.
So I come back here, right? I've got all this obstacle racing experience. I come back here and I start doing Spartan races, and I'm trying to get people at the gym to do Spartans, and I start a Spartan class, and now everybody's motivated and they're doing it, and they love it. And I think it's the events and working in the gym to be fit outside of the gym for these events is what's creating this community. Everybody's getting together outside of the gym to bike together, to run together, go to Adnac, do hill sprints.
Amazing.
And then they sign up together and they go and do these things, and so everybody's just becoming this big family together, which is really neat. And I think it's all around the events, and I guess a big part of it is my drive to get everyone to better themselves and to go for it, right? Like a lot of people say, I'm like, we should do this, and they're like, I don't think I can do that. And I'm like, of course you can. Like,
you absolutely can.
You absolutely can. Like, your body is not going to stop. That's your mind, limiting you. Like, your body will go forever.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm glad you brought up. When it comes to training, we all talk about like the physical training. You got to recover for the, you do legs, you got to recover for your legs, whatever, right? Muscles recover. Now we forget more often not to our brain is a muscle, right? And we go through rigorous like mental training or like just the consistency of showing up just to challenge your kind of your mindset and your brain and see what you're actually capable of, right? What we don't talk about a lot is, and I'm really happy to talk to you about it, is the mental recovery aspect, right? Of whether it be training or just things we go through. Like, what do you do to kind of recover your mind, like your brain, right? Because if your mindset's always here, it's not sustainable for that to be. You can't always be like, I'm always motivated, I'm always driven, we got this. Like, yeah, discipline takes over, but what do you do to kind of not condition it, but rest it and recover it and then reset your mind so that the next day or after a certain race you're able to kind of pick back up and get back into the swing of things?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not being afraid to take rest, right? And using that time after something huge to do something that you don't normally do, right? If you spend all your time running or all your time at the gym, take a couple weeks off and play your guitar, play a musical instrument, learn something else. I like to meditate quite a bit, which is a good reset, or focus on stretching. Like, to be a good athlete, and even just good mindset for everyone is to be well-rounded in everything, right? So definitely cycling like throughout your year, right? Like for me, I've got my big event, so I will train my ass off for that, and then after that I'll have a good rest and then do something else.
Okay.
Right? I put a ton of time into training.
Yeah.
And when I do that, I don't have time for nothing else. So taking the time after for other things that I enjoy, right? Like I enjoy learning to play piano, or just swimming, right?
Yeah.
Things I'm not good at, or biking, just to do something different for your mind, just to cool things down and change it up.
Amazing. I think there's something to be said for switching like what you're doing up, right? I don't think the word distract is the best word, but it's definitely a way of almost shifting what you're doing so it allows your brain to like relax that thinking and like that level of thinking.
Yeah. Well,
to focus on that.
Yeah, and working out is a stress, right?
Absolutely.
Even though people get their stress release,
yeah,
but
like
it's
the
like
runner's high.
Yeah, it's hard on the body, and you're taking an impact from that. And if you do that every single day, you're going to keep digging a hole. So, and a lot of people are afraid when they get into it. They get into training and they see these results and they're getting strong. They think that if they take a week off, they're screwed.
Yeah,
right?
There's a bit of like anxiety around it.
Yeah, you don't take a week off and do absolutely nothing. You take a week off and you do something else, right? You read books. You learn something. You learn a different skill.
Interesting.
It's a chance to do what you want to do, right?
Right. Now, what's your meditation process like? Because I hear everybody throw the word around, and I'm curious because everybody seems to have a different way of doing it, or it's a very, very broad term.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what do you do for it? Is it just as simple as like
me
sitting cross-legged? Humming, or like for you that's just the stereotypical way.
Yeah,
like, that's not how I meditate either, obviously, but that's just kind of when I hear the word, that's immediately the first thing I think of, which is not ideal.
I use guided meditation.
Okay.
So I use an app called Headspace.
Nice.
Yeah. So for me I really like that app because it helps me to focus on my thoughts and to learn how to control them, which is really neat. Like, control your thoughts and your emotions, which is a really good skill with that I think everybody could benefit from.
Interesting. So I think there's something to be said for like actually being willing to like learn something new, right? And once we get into like the process of learning something new and doing something you love, or figuring out, like myself, I like the variety. I like to do a lot of different things, and my brain goes wild in every way. But once you get to a point where you find something that you really, really love and enjoy, at what point do you realize you're like, okay, is this a hobby, or is this like a passion project that I could turn into a profitable business? And I think that's something that's really important. And I'm wondering at what point, because it seemed like it started off, like fitness obviously seemed like a lifestyle from the early beginning, right? But it seemed like obstacle course racing and training like that style and coaching kind of became a passion project, and then it turned into something that's like, oh, now it's a passion-driven business. At what point do you think you realize you're like, ooh, I could turn this into something? Like, I get a kick out of doing this. Let's turn that into a business. Like, at what point do you think that was?
Definitely when I moved back from Australia. Because it was like a sudden move, right? I just like basically got deported. So
does anybody ever leave Australia smoothly though?
No, like, they're like, here's your 30 days notice, get out. So
yes, sir.
So I came back with nothing, no job, no clients, nothing, and I don't know. It wasn't necessarily about money,
right?
It was just, I don't know. I was working at Good Life as a trainer. I was the only fit trainer there. I'm just gonna say that.
Let's go.
And from there, I just couldn't work there. So I had the opportunity to open my own space. So I took it. It was like this little garage. I put all my money into equipment, everything I had, and I just was like, whatever, man, sink or swim. Like, I'm just going to do this on my own. I'm going to run classes out of this little garage and personal training sessions and just hope that it works in my favor. And I ended up taking a couple clients from Good Life. One of my clients, Gus, he's an amazing man.
Shout out to Gus.
Yeah, shout out to Gus, always. He wanted to invest, and he's like, man, I want to start something, and I want you to run it, and we'll do it together. So this guy was just, I'm like, okay, cool. We sit down and look at equipment. I'm like, I want this. Then we look at a ninja course. I'm like, I want these obstacles and this and that. He's like, cool.
It's
like, sweet.
Amazing.
All right, this is unreal.
Amazing.
So it all happened, man.
Yeah.
It just like boom, like that.
Right.
All of a sudden, a couple months later, Apex Warriors open and shit's happening. So it was really cool, man. He was a really good friend of mine, and like, he changed my life just like that. Like, he's an amazing guy, for sure. Yeah. I ended up he gave me an opportunity to buy him out through COVID, and I ended up buying him out. So I own 100% now, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That's good. Sick.
Yeah. It was real cool. It was a really cool feeling just to pay him back for his help. That, I'll be forever grateful for that man.
I bet. That's amazing. So you met him. He was a client in Australia
at Good Life.
Good Life. Oh, okay.
At Good Life.
Yeah,
so he
nice.
went to the new space with me.
Yes.
Seeing what I was trying to do, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do this on a bigger scale."
Sick.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, kind of shifting a little bit. What I'm curious about is, so first of all, congrats with Lululemon.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm really fascinated at that process and what that kind of relationship's like, if you don't mind, if you're able to dive into it a bit. So I'm curious, how'd that get started?
So when the pop-up store came to Sudbury, I was just I started a relationship with them. I approached them and told them I got a gym and that they can use my facility anytime, and they started using it, and we did team sweats. No. We did a whole bunch of stuff for them there. They had their team meetings, and then I would just tell them straight up that I want to be the Lululemon ambassador and that my goal is to be on the wall.
Let's go!
Right?
This is the goal.
Yeah, I kept on telling them that, and they said we don't have a store, and I was always kind of there. And once they opened the new store, they told me they were going to open a new store, and I said, listen, I want that spot. I want to be on the wall. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I don't know. They just kind of went back and forth a little bit, and I kept on pushing. And they wanted a run club for Lululemon, and nobody there at the store runs. So I was like, listen, I'll run your run club.
Yeah.
So I started running the run club, and then sure enough, they asked me to be their ambassador, which was amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm
awesome.
I'm the train ambassador. Chantel got the run ambassador role, and Megan's got the yoga, which is like such an amazing opportunity. They're an incredible company to work with. Like, for example, during COVID, when we were shut down for a month on that last lockdown, they to show support for all of the members that kept their membership running at the gym, they gave a free Lululemon shirt. So all the girls, all the guys, and it was like over 70 shirts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just hooked us all up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. They've been massive supporters this whole time, so it's a great opportunity to be with them.
Yeah. So it's kind of like community development and stuff is what you kind of like, what the partnership seems to be.
That's
like.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. A big part of it was, I've got my trail race series.
Yeah.
So I'm always in the community. I always do these different things. Right now it's dancing with the Easter Seal Stars.
I want to get into that too.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. You still come out, man. It's next Friday.
Yeah, I do want to check it out. I have the day off too.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild, man. Dinner and a show, and I
amazing.
just found out yesterday that I'm dancing first of the night. So.
Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Dude.
My dance partner was like, we need to be like close to last, and she sent me the thing, and we're dancing first.
We are the first slot of the. Oh man.
Yeah.
Jeez. How did that like relationship kind of start? Like from beginning for Easter Seals, and then to kind of where you're at now, where you're like, man, we're almost a week away.
With dancing?
Like how'd that whole thing kind
man.
of get started? We briefly touched on it in our like intro chat last week.
This is pretty simple and short. Somebody recommended me. I got a phone call, and I said yes.
Amazing. Easy.
And this was like 6 weeks ago, man. Like 5 weeks ago.
Come on.
Yeah.
Get a month and a half at most.
Yeah, at most. And my dance partner lives out of town, so we're only meeting like 2 times a week. But we dance for like 2 hours every time, so it's and she's a good teacher, so it's been so much fun. And this goes back to like, doing something different. I don't know how to fucking dance. Like, no way, man.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to, but I have no idea how to. Like, we're doing disco. I don't know what disco
I don't even know
is.
what disco is either. Yeah.
But
no chance.
Yeah. Disco and quick step. So it's gonna be
geez.
it's gonna be badass. I'm really excited.
Yeah, man, that's sick. No, I definitely have to now.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, that's so cool. So, can she dance? Like, she could dance already, eh?
Yeah, she's
okay.
a pro. She's
Sick.
been dancing since she's been like 6. And
So you can kind of like, you have some guidance. It's not like you're both
no,
unaware of where to start and
yeah.
everything.
So
That's so cool.
Yeah, I have no idea. So that's the fun part, right? She's a professional, and then
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I have to learn.
Yeah, obviously, man,
Yeah.
That's so cool. In this process, I know, like you said, it's been like, it'll be about a month and a half when you compete. What has been like a favorite moment of this like experience? Because it seems to me like it's a very new thing and a fun new project you're doing. So what's been something like really exciting, like your favorite moment so far?
My favorite moment is putting all the pieces together, and like looking back to where I started and where I'm at now. Like we've got 2 90-second routines that we've got to do. So one's disco and one's quick step. Mm-hmm. And now we're putting everything together, and we're picking apart like small pieces to make it perfect. And when I first started, man, I couldn't even stand and like spin in a fucking circle. Like,
wow.
It was so bad. And like clapping together on time with my feet, couldn't do it.
No.
And then, like doing disco's like a lot of hips and shit. And I'm like, I'm trying to do my hips, and I'm like, man, my hips don't move. And then she's like, get your arm on time with your hips. I'm like, I can't.
Like,
and then
I can't do my hips.
Can't do my hips. And then she's like, lean this way. And so like it was at first I'm like, this
amazing.
This is nuts, and this is like really overwhelming. But I also knew, like, from experience from before, like, how I learned. It's like, okay, there's, like, fail, try again, try again, try again, try again. Okay, got it. You know, and then you move on to the next thing. And it's got to become muscle memory, right? So it's
everything.
It's really neat. So my favorite part is definitely, like, being able to look back at where we started and where we are now.
Amazing.
Like, now I'm, like, really excited to put on a show.
Showcase it, eh?
Yeah, I hope I just don't choke in front of 300 people.
I'm like, well, maybe not thinking about it that much, but yeah.
Well, we are sneaking a backflip in there.
Let's go. Amazing.
Yeah.
You would too. You're like, no, we got to get the flip.
We got to win, man.
Yeah. I'd ask when in the routine, but I'll watch it live and see.
Yeah.
I'll find that one out for myself. Jeez. Now, so I've been going back and forth in my brain of like, every year I like to learn, like dive into learning something new. Right? That could just be a handful of reasons, but I just think if we don't try, like I know a handful of friends of mine who have no idea what they want to do. It's because they don't know. Nobody really does, but they don't know what they do and don't like. So I'm like, what do you like to do? Like, I don't know. Like, any hobbies? No. What do you like to do at the gym? No. Doesn't know. Like, okay, try things, right? So that's, I think, part of my, as much as I know what I enjoy doing and what I don't. So it's like learning guitar and diving into it the last couple of years, and then next year / later this year after, like, so with that is I want to learn how to backflip. I've done it with spotters, but I just, when they step like a foot or two away from me, Dennis, I have anxiety. Just can't do it. I can't go backwards. I can't go backwards unless they're like, I'm like, I need to feel your arm on my arm. You don't even need to do anything. They're like, watch the video, like. And I'll see it, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you don't do anything. And you're like, no, you're doing it all. Like, you're athletic enough, you can do it, you know what to do. You're just scared, for lack of a better term. But, yeah, so kind of what I'm curious about with that is how do you teach that? Like, just out of curiosity, specific skill. Because I'm like
the
hunting.
backflip?
Yeah, because I'm hunting for a teacher.
If you can,
or a coach.
I've taught a lot of people how to do this one, and I know exactly what you're talking about. The fear of jumping backwards and the anxiety of doing a backflip.
I can't see.
Yeah,
right?
you can't see, and it kind of doesn't really ever go away.
Right.
That anxiety will, like, for your first one, even if you can do a whole bunch, even your first one will always, like, you'll still get that feeling. But if you've got spotters that you trust and you can do a backflip, just keep doing it with the spotter there, man. If that's how you're comfortable, there's nothing wrong with doing it with a spotter until you feel better to do it without them.
And you're like, okay, I think I got this, yeah.
Yeah, and if you've got a good spotter or a good coach watching you, they're going to spot you, and then they're just going to walk away without you knowing, and you're going to do it on your own.
You're gonna be like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's a power there.
Yeah.
Okay. I will walk through your doors in the next little bit, and I'll be requesting this. I'll be like,
yeah, man, you'll get a backflip.
I'd love to learn.
Yeah.
I've been hunting for it.
Like, legit, if you can stand and do it with a spotter, you're there.
It was a couple summers ago, COVID, so I was bored, and I had watched a couple friends do like workouts in the park, and they were just flipping, and I was like, all right, Nick, show me how to do this. And they're like, yeah, we'll spot you. I have another guy who can spot. I'm like, okay. So they're pretty good in showing and stuff, but yeah, the coaching aspect to it is like something that I'm like, and it's two buddies at a park for 2 hours one day.
Right.
So you're like, how much can you really get out of it? But I can flip on trampoline, like it's nothing.
Right.
Both ways, so yeah. But yeah, no, I'm just hunting.
Can you flip on the trampoline without bouncing?
I think so. So. Or I maybe take like a one step in, which is a bounce. So I guess maybe not.
Yeah. You obviously still get a bounce if you don't jump or if you don't bounce.
Right.
But it's less, right? Just try and do like less and less and less and focus on the tuck and grabbing your knees.
Okay.
But we have got mats at the gym, so if they land upside down, it's a little bit painful, but not as much as the ground.
I've had that like crazy experience of like landing poorly.
Yeah. And
just been like, ooh, okay. I just landed on my shoulder weird and was like, all right, got a grass stain on my arm. Got up and I was like, all right. And then, that was like the third one I did. And I was like, ooh, it's not good. But yeah, I hesitated. So it didn't help me out much.
Yeah, it's always got to be 100%. And don't ever do them when you're drinking.
Why?
This tooth is fake.
Come on.
Yeah.
What happened there? If you...
Another quick, easy story. First night in Cancun with the boys, drunk, backflip in front of girls on my face. tooth gone. Yeah. My friend actually found my like half of tooth.
Oh, no
that
way.
was gone.
You still have it?
No, I don't know
Is it
where.
the necklace right now?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Like Cancun 2014. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, the worst part about that was
That's hilarious.
like I
I'm
was
happy you shared that.
Yeah, I was so wasted. I didn't really feel the pain that night. We just had a bunch of fun, and there was blood everywhere, obviously. And then when I woke up in the morning, I looked like the Joker. I had like blood just dripping down my face.
No.
And I woke up like, did that really happen? And then I remember the pain. Like I couldn't drink water because my root was exposed. Couldn't like breathe in air on it.
Just so sensitive,
It was so bad, and I was so hungover. The nurse gave us an address to a dentista in Mexico. So we take the address, get on a bus, like a city bus type thing.
Yeah.
Ride the city bus. I don't know. I can't remember where we got off, but I think the bus driver told us to get off. Then we gave that address to a taxi driver. And I was with my two friends, so it's three of us.
Mm.
We asked the taxi driver how much to get to this address, and they're like $5. I'm like, okay. We get in, and there's the taxi driver, his friend. They don't speak English, and then there's three of us in the back, and we're driving. Like we drove really far for $5.
Yeah, no kidding.
Down these back streets, like wild dogs and shit. We're like,
oh no,
man, we're gonna get fucking killed.
Yeah, like this is what happens. Like we're out of the resort now.
This is what happens. Like
this is literally
we don't even know where we are. Like this is crazy. And they drop us off at this dentist office. I go in, or see the receptionist. She can't speak English. The dentist isn't there. This guy ends up showing up in a taxi. Comes out, bums the smoke from one of my buddies, and it's the dentist. Right?
Oh no.
We go up into his office. He's got one chair, and he's like, no paperwork, no nothing. He's like, we can do the $70 option or the $120 option. I'm like,
oh no,
$70, whatever.
You picked the $70 option with your teeth?
Yeah. So he
You're in a customer service world.
Yeah. No. Well, man, I still had to drink for the rest of the week.
That's true. Yeah.
So he
that's amazing.
Puts a needle in my mouth, numbs my mouth, does a little bit of work, and then I'm pain free for the rest of the week, which was like a bonus. Except I smashed my bottom teeth through my lip, so I had this like gross bloody lip, and it was swollen, and then my fucking mouth was just gross.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh man.
Yeah.
Got a root canal in Cancun.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure, like, it sounds like you drove out of Cancun with the amount of time you spent in the car.
Yeah. I think it was it must have been a partial root canal, because when I got back, they actually did a legit root canal and gave me a tooth.
Nice. I wasn't too far off, eh? It was like a Patch Adams job.
Yeah, it was something.
Oh,
I don't know what happened. It was the $70 option. That's what it was.
Did you ask him what the $120 one was? Like,
No.
what was,
I don't know.
what was that one like? No? That'd be interesting to find out. Like the 120 makes the tooth a bit thicker, or it's a bit whiter.
It's a gold tooth.
Yeah, it's gold.
It was $70 for the operation, and then when I get back, it was like $1,500
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh man, that's amazing. Jeez, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard, man. Oh man, I can only imagine. Like, it sounds like so you had no choice too. Eh? Like, now was that at the beginning of the trip or the end?
That was the first day, the first night. So that was it. It was like either go home or do that. I don't know. Going home wasn't really an option. So.
The $1,200 thing, like it was. I was in Croatia. I don't know if you've ever been, but there's this city called Split, and it's along the coast. And we met this woman who was one of our servers, and she's in like dental school, like dental hygiene school. And we're like, yeah, you know what's going on? Like, just chewing the fat. They're like, oh, you're from Canada, cool. We're like, yeah, you know, classic tourist stuff, adventure stuff. And she, like, oh, like, what are you studying? And she goes, oh, like dentist school. And we're like, oh, you're gonna be a dentist. And my buddy's like, you're gonna make a lot of money. And then she goes, nope. I'm like, what do you mean no? She's like, well, what do dentists make in Canada? I'm like, well, they live on the water, nice house, so like roughly between this and this, like minimum 6 figure, like good, they're doing well, right? And she goes, no, maybe like 22,000 Canadian. We're like, what?
Wow,
incredible. I was like, what the? How does that happen? And then she's like, yeah, well, and I think the funniest thing is too, is we connected with them, stayed in touch as kind of like the tripping, like the next couple like days in Croatia, the rest of the week and weekend in Croatia was. So we went out with them a couple other times, and like the hostess and the waitress, right? And we left. We got their Instagrams, and I remember this vividly because they, as much as we were drinking a lot of wine, she sent me a message, like, cussing me out for leaving a 20 euro tip. And we're like, well, you guys were awesome. You let us pick the music, and it was packed on this patio, right?
Yeah.
And you gave us a better table. You gave us a discount anyway. And so we're like, oh, my buddy's just like, here's a 10. And I'm like, here's a 10. So we give him 20 euros. She's like, how were you guys thinking? You can't tip that much. That's so mean. We're like, mean?
What?
Whoa. They just weren't, like, I guess they, like, so in, I'm not sure about the, like, in Cancun and stuff, but I'm sure it's, like, similar in Cuba and Jamaica, right, where in resorts, like, people working, the service workers, they rely on tips, right?
Yeah.
That's their living. These people, it's like, you can't tip that much, right? Like, I'd go around when I was much younger and family was in Cuba, like, we'd go around to each person who served us well and was like, here, we're leaving, thanks for the service, here's kind of what we have left,
yeah,
right? Because we're losing money converting it back. So I remember that, and I was like, oh, man. So yeah, I can imagine why it was much, much cheaper, because I guess they just don't get paid the same, which is outstanding.
Yeah, it's just like a standard, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if it's like customary with everything, but I think, yeah, those smaller rundown, like, I don't know if third world's the best, second world countries we'll call them. Like, yeah, I think that's a big difference, but yeah, different technology, but whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So as we kind of get to kind of towards the end of the episode and stuff, do you have any like last pieces of kind of advice or like stories or kind of lessons you've learned along the way that you'd like to pass along or stuff like that?
Probably, if we're gonna focus on fitness stuff, just to have a goal, right? Have something to strive for, and just believe that you are capable of doing anything, right? Mm-hmm. It's your mind that will give out before your body. One thing that I've learned in ultra running and why I love it so much is that through running you get to see what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Right. And you see that there is no limits. You start thinking like, shit, I gotta walk, like I can't run anymore, so you walk, but then you recover and you can start running again, right? And it just doesn't stop. And you'll see that, like, if I do a lot of out and back running. Yeah. So I'll run, like, let's just say 5K out, 5K back, and then next one would be like 10K out, 10K back, and then 15 out, 15 back, 20 out, 20 back. And when you get out there and you're exhausted and you got to run back, like, you don't have a choice. It's not like you're at the gym and you can just quit and go to the change room and go home because something was hard, right? You're out there no matter what, and you got to get back.
I love it, yeah.
And then you see, like, you're like, shit, I just did something I've never done before and I didn't think I could do.
Right.
Which is what's so cool about running. I'll use that 85K for example, man. Like, when I signed up for that race, I was so nervous, and I was like, I don't know if I should do this. And I'm like, fuck it. I put in my credit card, signed up, and I was done, and I was like, I can't believe I just did that. Like, here we go. Like, training starts today.
Let's go, yeah. Like right now.
And I started doing like the biggest training runs I've ever done, and when I did that race, right, my longest event was a training run, right? I've done big runs, but I've done them in 24 hours. So this was my biggest consistent run. So in training, I did a 60K run, which was my longest run, consistent. And then when I got to 60K in the race, everything after 60 was like new territory.
Yeah, it's like, uncharted.
What's gonna happen? Are my legs gonna break?
Whoa.
Or is my mind gonna break down? Like,
feet.
what's gonna happen? And nothing happened. I just kept running.
Amazing.
Right?
And I can do this.
Yeah. I got to the end and I was like, shit, I can keep going. Like, it's crazy. You're your body is capable of anything, and when you realize that in your mind, it's limitless. It's totally limitless.
That's amazing.
And I bring that to the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and everybody sees it.
Yeah.
Like, it's infectious being around it.
Yeah.
Like, and I've gotten sneak peeks, but I've gotten that energy feedback from other people, the way they talk about not just you, but and not just the environment, and not just the gym, but the whole like community, and like all those things I just listed. I'm like let's go for a run now. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon. I got my work boots on. I'm like, let's go. So, oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's running for me has completely changed my life for sure, and my mindset. And I've been in some fucking dark places on runs too, man. Like when you do something, you know, you go a distance you've never gone before, and you get your nutrition wrong, and you turn into a zombie out in the middle of nowhere. And then, you know, what happens when you get depleted? Your mindset turns, right? Your body, your brain's reaction, your survival reaction to get you out of that situation is to turn negative. And, you know, why am I here? What am I doing? This is stupid. I'm an idiot, right? You start to like, that's your fight or flight response to like
negative.
Yeah, to get you out. And then all you need to do is like eat and kind of recover. But like, that's part of the experience. Like, you'll have to get through that to, you know, get home or to finish the run or whatever, right? And you'll see that I started to learn that. I've done 3 24-hour races, and through the night, your body wants to go to sleep.
Oh, 100%.
So to go to sleep,
circadian rhythms.
Yeah, that's when your mind switches, and it's like, I don't care about the race anymore. Whoa. I don't care what people think if I quit. Like, you just like I should just go to sleep. This race is stupid. And I start hating myself, and my mind is telling me all these things to stop, to save me, right? It's a survival thing.
Yeah.
And then, so after like 2 races, I learned that, and on my 3rd one, I'm like, okay, like, ignore that shit. Like, let's just grind and keep going.
Amazing.
And you know what's really cool is you go through all that. You go through this like zombie hating stage through the night. The sun comes up, and it's like, wow, I love myself.
Like,
look at this. Yeah, the sun's out. You start running again.
Let's go. You get quicker, and you're like, where did this come from?
Yeah, like,
that's awesome.
It's really neat, man. Like the mind is. And that's like meditation, you know, getting into meditation and just learning about your thought process in your mind and how it's automatically fighting for survival, right? That's all your body wants to do is survive, and it's got its own mechanisms that we don't even know about, right? You've got to know through these different things that it does, right? It's really interesting. Yeah,
that's so cool. I think you just you sold me on running. Like, it was a while ago I mentioned, but you're like, I got this guy.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to this, and then boom, like, I want to go for a run now. Like, oh man, that's awesome. So I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you. So tell everybody what are some projects you're working towards, or cool things you got coming up, or things you're training for, and where they can find you, and where they can train with you.
Right now I'm training for Spartan Race. That's the only thing on my mind right now. In October, actually there's a 24-hour. I can't believe I just forgot about this, but I'm actually doing this race with Richard.
Nice.
We're doing an adventure race, which is really cool. So it's a hike, a run, paddle, and mountain bike.
Like a kayak?
Yeah. Or canoe.
Or canoe. Yeah. I guess you're doing it together.
Yeah, so an adventure race. It's a team of 4, which is really cool. So that's going to be a really big deal. But for the gym, we're in the south end of Sudbury on 125 Loches Road. Our website is live and updating at apexwarrior.ca.
Amazing.
So that's a good way to hit us up. We've got a free 7-day trial that's there on the website. That's probably the easiest way to get started, and it's like everywhere in red, like right in your face when you get on the website. Just like click that button.
You can't miss it.
Can't miss it. Click the button. You'll get an email to the app. Book yourself in, and get started.
Amazing. Right on. Dennis, I'm really grateful you were able to sit down with me today, and yeah, man, I really appreciate you sharing your story, and yeah, man, I look forward to connecting with you more in the future. So
yeah, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Right on. Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
That's it.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, man, thank you.